We was emotional when we was listening to it. You know what I mean? It gets a little eerie when you hearing them without the music to it. You know what I mean? And you hearing them breathe and talk. You know what I mean? You know the B rolls,
Yeah, the
if
studio
you will.
sessions.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, bring that back, or you know what I mean? Okay, like turn the mic up, and you know, yo, I love you. Like you know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? You get emotional.
Word, man. I'm trying to get the out of here tonight, man. Word, P.
Angel Diaz here, hip hop editor at Billboard, and I'm sitting down with the legendary living legend Havoc to talk about this upcoming Infinite album,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That you and Alchemist put together.
Yep.
So yeah, let's get into it, man. Talk about the timeline, right? Like when did you decide to do this album? Were you and P already thinking about doing another Mob album, or was it after he passed where you decided to do this?
Well, you know, the last time we Mobb Deep did an album was in like 2014, right? So by the time he passed, the year that he passed, 3 years had elapsed. I don't think we was talking about a Mobb Deep album at that point yet. You understand what I'm saying? Because we was just touring and stuff like that, and touring the new material that we had. But when he passed away, you know what I'm saying, his untimely death, I knew that we had unfinished business. You understand what I'm saying? So it was always in my mind. You know what I mean? But I don't own Prodigy's verses, right? And the family, you know, rightfully so, they have this a grieving period. You know what I mean? Where they have to grieve, get their business in order. So you know, things take time, and it wasn't something that I could rush, even though, you know, I was all for Mobb Deep project. You know what I mean? I probably wanted to do it maybe like, you know, 4 years past Prodigy's, you know, passing. I was like, you know, let's do a Mobb Deep album, but had to really get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, and I mean, I could imagine because it's not like he passed away. Like it was like a sudden thing, right? So like everybody, you were in shock. The family's in shock.
Yeah, I mean, because we was used to him getting sick. You know, it wasn't nothing new. So when he got sick the last time in Vegas, it was like, okay, sick, go to the hospital, bounce back, back to business. But that wasn't the case. So it definitely was a shock.
Were you guys on tour at the time?
We
When that
wasn't
happened?
on tour, but we was had a performance in Vegas. You know, I believe it was like with Ice T or
He was
something like
something.
that.
Okay, yeah.
He had like he throws those like old school shows, kind of like, you know what I mean. So yeah, it was one of those.
So then when was it when you finally got the okay to start working on this?
Um, I think, you know, me and Prodigy's estate had been in talks for a while. Um, I don't know. It just like really organically happened. Like I was talking to Alchemist, like, yo, man, let's do it. Like, you know, like a year ago.
Okay.
From you know, like about a year ago, like really serious. I said, yo, Al, you know what I mean? I need your help. Let's. I don't want to do this by myself. You know what I mean? Because I trust Alchemist, love his production, and he's family. So once we got together in the studio, we involved the estate. Like, hey, you know, Prodigy's daughter come down, or you know, Prodigy's, you know, ex-wife come down. And it just was kind of organic. It wasn't like so much, okay, today's the date. It's like I went to Al's crib and was like, yeah, let's get everybody involved. And then I think everybody had the appetite to complete the mission.
I'm assuming you have a studio in your crib,
Yeah, yeah.
and so you did a lot of the work there.
Yeah, you know, every producer has a studio in their bedroom or whatever, you know, so to speak, or a studio. Most of the work is done in the home, you know, these days because of technology. So yeah, I had a lot of stuff already mapped out, like what kind of ideas I had, and you know, Alchemist, same thing.
So was he? Were you were going to his studio? He was coming to your studio
I was mainly just going to his, you know,
in L.A.
yeah, in
And you was
LA.
going out there.
I love going to LA and working. I love getting outside of my own studio and working period, just to get different energy. And so I flew out to LA, and it was second nature. I've been in Alchemist studio before many times.
I mean, yeah, and then so because I was watching one of the interviews you guys did recently, so you already kind of had the skeleton for a lot of the beats, right? Like you had started them, or and then Alchemist said that he put his spices. Like how did the collaboration between you guys work? In building this album.
Well, I had received vocals from Prodigy's estate, so I've been working on them for a while. Trying like hundreds of different beats to Prodigy's vocals.
So like to make them fit, right? To make it sound right.
to make it fit. And I like this one. No, I don't like that one. No, I like this one. And just changing it, swapping them out. And finally, when I got the Alchemist crib, it was like he was working on it like in real time. Like, oh, let me pull up this Prodigy vocal. Oh, this is dope. He already had a beat to it, but he's like, oh, let me change the beat. And so we would put, new beats to the vocals that Alchemist already had. And sometimes I might have a vocal and, Alchemist would be like, oh, let's try this. Like, just different things we was trying.
And like samples too, like you guys were like
yeah. We sample heavy.
That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah.
Like I'm a sample heavy producer. You know what I mean? I know everybody tries to give it flat, but that's how hip hop started.
Yeah, but the thing about you, bro, like, well, you had mentioned in one of the interviews too that you always felt underrated and you kind of still feel underrated. I think it was the Hip Hop DX when the Pitchfork named you guys the infamous I think number one. The way you guys flip samples is just different from everybody else.
Yeah.
So kind of explain that, man, because I know Alchemist told me one time where he used to watch you make beats and like y'all be deep in the studio back in the day. You like drinking E&J 40s and you just like going off the energy of everybody else.
Yeah, because that was a good time, right? Like, so your crew was an element of the unknown element of your production, right? Because you feed off of them, you get their vibe. They'll come in, they'll give their little critiques. You'll either take it or you say F you, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. But it was part of the vibe, right? Your crew being there. And I always loved that element of production. So there's times I'll be in the studio, just getting nice and just drinking some E&J and just absorbing the vibe.
Okay, and then so how is it now though making beats? Right now that you older, successful, what's the vibe now in Havoc Studio?
Number one, liver definitely can't take the alcohol like I used to when I was 20. So that's minus that. But it's better now, you know what I mean? Because I'm here, it's more coherent. The ambition is still there, the hunger. And I kind of enjoy less company around when I'm production because I could just get inside my own thoughts. And then when I need to, go out and let the crew hear it.
Okay, so how was it, man? Like, how was it when you were by yourself and you were hearing Prodigy's vocals and you're building that, like, talk about the emotions that were going through, because I'm sure that was pretty hard for you.
When I was listening to Prodigy's vocals, a cappella, trying to create around his vocals, listening to it made me feel like I was having a conversation with him. You know what I mean? He's not talking directly to me, but in some form, I feel like I was having a by myself conversation with him. And those conversations deserved really dope beats.
And you have mentioned too that during those last couple months or whatever, that you kind of like, now hindsight's 2020, right? Looking back, you kind of felt like he knew that he didn't have much time left. You say he was like knocking on your hotel room to have a conversation. And he never did that.
And he never came to my hotel room. You know, I was like, oh snap, I got my friend back. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a funny thing because, they say like your soul, your spirit knows that you're going to leave before you consciously know. So I kind of feel like something like that was happening. You know what I mean? I just chime it up to be like we was getting closer. You know, we was getting closer, and I was like, wow. I was like, man, that's. And I wasn't saying it to him, but in my mind, I was like, damn, this is dope. Like, you know, because me and him started from since we was 14, 15 years old. I've known him for a very long time. And, you know, we had our ups and downs.
I was going to say, you guys are basically family, so you would have your little wouldn't talk for a while, then link up.
You know, maybe I might go months without even speaking to him, you know, each other. But we brothers. You do that sometimes with your family, unfortunately, right? And so me and him was family. But when we finally got together, and the few days before he passed away, I felt like we got closer.
Is there any conversations that you're willing to share, or?
Well, it's not secret that we was trying to go more on a healthier path, because the last video of me and him together was in Whole Foods.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So we was doing that, you know what I mean? And the conversation more or less was about, making better options in life, period. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking forward to that.
When did you know that the album was ready? Because I could imagine that you probably didn't want, like, you kept probably tinkering with shit and trying to make it perfect. Yeah, so when did you finally be like, that's it? Like,
you got to pull me away from the album. And you got to go cut. You know what I mean? Like, it's done. But nah, for real, I could still work on it now. Like, if you ask me to, you know what I'm saying? But we got a product to put out. You know what I mean? Because I could keep going, so whenever, when we had like 20 songs, it's like, bro, how many more are we going to make? Okay. You know what I mean? We can't put them all on there. So let's just pick from here. And that's it.
So how did you approach your verses? Are some of those verses of yours old? Are they new? Like,
they all pretty much verses that I wrote now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
When you rapping with Prodigy, you know what I'm saying? You got to be on your A game. So I approached it in that sense, like, I know I'm not gonna write a better verse than him, but I'm gonna try to hang in there. You know what I mean? He's the lyricist, so, and that just makes everybody better. You know what I mean? Me, Al, it's like these lyrics are gold.
So you would make he had his verses ready,
yeah,
and you would make the beat, and then you would go write your verse.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, once it was done, like, yours was like kind of like the last.
Yeah. So I would already have Prodigy's vocals. I would make the beat around it, and then I would really kind of listen to what he was saying a little bit, and try to match his cadence or his tone, and yeah.
You got a bunch of nice features on here, right? You got the clips. You got Ghost and Ray. Like, you took it back with that.
Yeah.
Georgia Smith is on there. I know you guys shot a video for that, or?
We did, and that's featuring Nas as well. We shot a video for that. Extraordinary artist, Georgia Smith. She's mad cool, met her, had, a few conversations with her.
So
she's dope.
So did you want her on the track? Like, how did that feature come about?
It was something like, I guess somebody at the label knew somebody that knew somebody. You know what I mean? Because we were looking for a singer to sing on this particular song that we had called Love the Way. And she came through, you know what I mean? But, our wildest dreams were answered, because not only did she, come through, but her came through. You know what I'm saying? The artist,
I was gonna mention her too. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got two artists, jumping on the same song. I'm like, which one do you say, okay, no, thank you? Like, I don't think so. You know what I mean? You're going to use them both. So that's the conundrum that we had.
How did the clips, did you guys reach out to the clips? Like,
I knew that I wanted the clips on this album, so I relayed that to a few people, and, without hesitation.
I mean, yeah, when Havoc puts in the call, like, get on
I
this
wouldn't say all that.
Come on, man. They're not going to be like, nah, we not going to fuck Havoc. You know what I mean? You're not going to get on.
No, but, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a famous viral clip going with Pusha saying, yo, Mobb Deep.
Mobb Deep over everybody. Mobb Deep over Clips. Mobb Deep. Mobb Deep.
You know what I mean? I really, I thank him for that because I fuck with the Clips like that. You know what I mean? Like I really, it's not fake. You know what I mean? Like I fuck with them. So
they cut from that same cloth, man.
Word, like for real,
the subject matter and all
so
that.
when they rapped on when they got on the album and through the verses, I didn't even know they was coming with an album. So, shouts out to the Clips.
Also, when you reached out, you didn't realize that they were
working on the album. No,
yeah, because you mentioned that they had reached out for Godfather Part 3.
Yeah, they just wanted the reels. You know what I mean? I was Pusha. I was really trying to get those reels for you, but these guys, sometimes they just take too long. The red tape, literally.
And then you have Nas on 3 tracks. Like, was that like a mass appeal thing, or what? Like how did he end up on 3 tracks? Is what I'm.
It was just a natural thing. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, he rapped on Pour the Henny. You know what I mean? We had Love the Way where he was feeling the song and he got on it, and then we got 2 songstresses. For the same song. So it was only right. Nas was like, yeah, I'm getting on that one too. You know what I mean? Like 3 verses on a Mobb album. You know what I mean?
I like how he kind of played on his verse on the Scarface joint.
Right.
Silk shirts on my chest show what a flirt. Holly Berry blew a kiss at the Barbra Streisand concert.
That's me. No, it's not.
It's mine.
It's mine. Yeah. I'm assuming Ray and Ghost. What was that? Just like you just put in the favor. You know what I mean? Like,
those are my guys.
That's like you guys go way back.
Yeah, those are my guys, and they was there with our last moments with P. You know what I mean? So I'll never forget that. You know what I mean? And you can't make a Mobb Deep album without Ray and Ghost.
And they're involved with this mass appeal.
Yep. Legend has its rollout. Which is dope, by the way. Shout out to Peter and Nas for the dope idea with the Legend Has It. And we're going to be doing Comic-Con and all of that crazy stuff.
I remember the Alchemist, even looking back, like I've always knew who he was, but I didn't realize that Murder Music was like his real introduction to Mobb Deep. Mm-hmm. So do you remember hearing the realest for the first time?
For pistols that don't jam when it's time to strike.
For bootleg liquor on a Sunday night.
Yeah, for sure. I think I might have been in Alchemist's crib, maybe something like that, or the studio. Can't remember exactly where he remembers. But when I first heard, he played me a couple of beats, but that was the one that stuck out. And he was like, "Oh, that's the one that Prodigy picked too, or whatever."
He mentioned that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, "Oh yeah."
That's kind of crazy, right? That you guys are like on that same wavelength.
We got the same ear. You know what I mean? Because it's Mobb Deep. It got a particular sound.
And it's so simple. He talked about how like he didn't think you were gonna pick that beat because it's so simple. It's just this loop.
Right. The simple beats are the best ones to me. They might get monotonous for other people, but I like that.
Yeah, it felt.
You can bop your head all day long. You know what I'm saying? Like, never get tired of it.
And you didn't touch that beat, right? Like
at all. That's 100% out. It's funny because when I'm out sometimes, every now and then, somebody be like, "Yo, man, the realest, that track is so dope. How'd you produce it?" I be like, "Nope, I didn't do that. That's Alchemist track." They be like, "Word for real?" I'm like, "Yes, that's Al."
Piggybacking on Alchemist, how does your production style mesh with his? Like, why do you guys complement each other so much?
I would say that both of us definitely are not coming through in some kind of commercial angle, right? Like, we're not pop, we're not commercial, we're not mainstream with it. We actually love just hip hop beats, like, you know what I mean? And we trying to just make the most authentic sounds of all time, every time. So I think that's why both of our styles complement each other. It's that foundational hip hop sound that we not trying to steer away from.
And some of the verses that you use for Prodigy, do you know like how old some of these verses were, or?
No, I couldn't even tell you how old they were. You know what I mean? If I had to guess, I definitely know that they wasn't from 96. Like, you know what I mean? Because, his style kind of evolved over time, but it was still Prodigy. You know what I mean? That gritty New York
It was
sound.
like maybe like around like maybe when he was making doing the tapes with Alchemist a lot, like after the 2000, like mid 2000s kind of.
I would say the early 2010s.
Okay.
You know, in somewhere in there, like 2010, 12. You know, that's what it sounds like to me.
Are there any? Is there a particular song or beat that that is maybe your favorite or you really enjoy putting together?
On this album, well, you know, I really do like Mr. Magic, the song this on the new album. I like that beat a lot. I like what Prodigy was rapping about. You know, I like his cadence on the song.
They call me Mr. Magic. Abracadabra, I toss a cadaver in the Florida swamp. They'll find you never.
So that was one of like my kind of favorite ones because I kind of, you know, did some like keyboard work on there a little bit too.
Okay. So you and Alchemist worked on every beat, or did you produce like a full beat and he produced a full beat?
Yeah, like that. Like, you know, he'll fully produce whatever he's doing, and I'll fully produce whatever I'm doing.
Okay, and then you guys just came together and like made it
yeah,
like Voltron, like kind of put it together like Legos. Like,
yeah, my favorite.
To make it sound.
Voltron is like my favorite cartoon anyway, growing up. So good analogy. Yeah, you know, like I trust Al. I'm sure he trusts me. We do what we do separately, and then collectively we just take a listen, tweak a few things, and then put the stamp on it.
You're going on tour with Raekwon, right?
Yep.
When does that start?
That starts in November. So that's the 30th anniversary of the Cuban Links album and the Infamous album. They both came up on 30 years this year. And so, you know, to celebrate it, we said, man, listen, man, let's do a tour together. And we got the full blessings of RZA. And, you know, he's helping us, you know, push the tour along and promote it.
You said you're gonna perform you want to perform songs from the album.
I really do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to performing like Against the World and, you know, Taj Mahal. And
is Noi gonna do Prodigy's verses?
Yeah, usually when we on the road.
Because I seen the performance that you guys did in DC. I forget the name of it, in front of the house.
Yeah.
Like Big Noi was going crazy.
Yeah. The porch. Yeah, you know, that's why we always stuck with Noi. You know what I mean? Because his energy on stage is like I don't got that kind of energy on stage, so I need to compensate.
Bro, I was getting a cut. My barber was like, "Yo, you watch this shit?" Big Noi was like, he was Prodigy. I'm like, play it. He started playing it. I was like, yeah, this shit was great.
No, it is very animated. Very.
Yeah, you got him. He makes an appearance too on the album.
Yeah, he do. That's on the M, the O, the B, the B.
Yeah, and then that Alchemist, he got connected through you guys. Was it through Noi, Godfather, or it was through the other guy?
It was
through Infamous, right?
Yeah, it was through those guys, because they got cool with DJ Muggs, and you know, I guess one thing led to another. Then that's how they met Al, and then naturally.
They kept telling me, listen to this guy.
Yeah, this dude is dope. You know, he's selling weed. He got beats. You know?
He's like a one-stop shop. And
Yeah. Then I went through there and I was like, damn.
He had good weed. He was selling. He
had some good ass weed and some dope ass beats. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, yo, so I never even heard of this dude before.
Were some of the songs made already or nah?
Well, you know, to my surprise, at least one of them, a fan pointed out in the comments like, yo, that verse was already on this song and X, Y, and Z. Okay. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even upset that that's the case, right? Because here's the thing. If that's the case, then the verse deserves more attention.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
You understand what I'm saying? It deserves more attention, and so we are giving it that. You know?
But it wasn't the song wasn't made. It's just a verse. They heard a verse somewhere.
I think it was a whole song.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? You know, to Against the World. It was originally P Against the World. You know what I mean? I changed it into Mobb Deep Against the World because I really, really loved the content.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first single, and I think that got a lot of people excited, man. So you guys made the right decision.
Exactly. So to those that are like, oh, I thought you was using verses that.
Those the man.
Listen, man, where was that energy when the verse was out 14 years ago? You understand? Like, we bringing it back. Like, come on, like, give your man a break.
So well, is this it? This is the last Mobb Deep album?
In my mind, respectfully, yes. Yes, it is. And look, I can't predict the future, but for real, it's like, this is what I wanted to do. We accomplished it, and that's that. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about it now that it's done?
I'm happy. You know what I mean? This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. You know, to the naysayers that say, you know, let Prodigy rest, it's like, bro, like, we don't do this for anything but the art. And if I feel and his family feels collectively that he got some unfinished business with his verses, we gonna not let it live in the computer.
But you also felt like you had unfinished business, right? Like,
you know, look, we here. You know what I'm saying? I could go and make an album. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. It's not gonna be good as a Mobb Deep album, but so yeah, we're gonna make a Mobb Deep album and one last hurrah for Mobb Deep. You know, why not? If anybody was given that opportunity to give one last hurrah to a brand they curated for 30 years, I'm sure everybody and their mother would be like, yeah, let's do it.
Do you feel like this helped you gain some closure, like after he passed?
For sure, absolutely. You know what I mean? It was therapy for me. You know what I mean? Look, it's a brand that I've known for over 30 years. You know what I'm saying? It's special to me. It's not just a project. You know what I mean? No, even though there's not going to be no more Mobb Deep music coming out, that don't mean it goes away for me. You know what I mean? It's just something that I created, that it's a creation of mine. And I just want to set it off into the sunset with something nice that everybody could look back on, even generations that's not born now, and they could look and be like, oh, wow, they had this career, and this happened, and then they put out one last project, and then that was it.
So last question, when you was in Alchemist studio, like, did you get emotional? Like, did you cry a little bit when you guys were putting this together?
We was emotional when we was listening to it. You know what I mean? It gets a little eerie when you hearing them without the music to it. You know what I mean? And you hearing them breathe and talk. You know what I mean? You know, the B-rolls.
Yeah, the studio
if you will.
sessions.
You know what I mean? Or, oh yeah, bring that back. Or, you know what I mean? Okay, like, turn the mic up and, you know, yo, I love you. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? You get emotional.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of goosebumps now because I was listening to the album, and you had mentioned this too, where in one of them he was like, "Yo, see you on the other side." That's just crazy.
That's insane. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's insane. I'm like, yo, did he know what he was saying? Like, what he was saying, so I could ask him. I'm like, what do you mean, see me on the other side? Like, cause I know what it sound like. Like, see you on the other side. Like,
he was like the East Coast Pac a little bit, man. Like,
for real.
He was like always working, and he always thought, like, you know, that rebel mindset, and he was into conspiracies and all that shit.
Absolutely, yo. That, you know, that's what I'm gonna miss the most. You know, bouncing those ideas off of him, bouncing those crazy conspiracy ideas, which I don't think is crazy, by the way, but I gotta say that for camera. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna miss that.
All right, yeah, I think we're good, man. Yeah, well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you.